Mhm. Oh. Here. Oh, yeah. Oh, what is this? Mommy's.
Is it only us or is there more? Oh, my bad.
It's just right now. Yeah, it's
Um,
just 3.
do you think we can get started in the next like 2, 3 minutes? Because I am
Yeah,
technically, I do have something at 6.
yeah.
So
We could just try and breeze through this. Yeah.
sweet.
Tressa, are you ready to start?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Um, and just start off. Um, how might conditional parenting grow out of grow out of a parent's way of being? Um, I wrote down that sometimes there can be different external things that can happen to a person to where like they can develop a sort of like if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to withdraw love and I'm gonna withdraw rewards and praise and everything like that. If like you don't do what I want you to do, kind of putting children on a pedestal in a way. Did everybody hear that? Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Anything else to add?
one more time.
What?
I think, can you read one more time?
Oh, repeat the question. How might
Yeah.
conditional parenting grow out of a parent's way of being?
Well, yeah. I think it's how they were raised. If they were taught like, I feel like I have had friends who were like, my parents only loved me when I did this, or like I felt like my parents only loved me when I achieved this. I actually was kind of sad. I had a friend who he finally got a job that paid him pretty well, and he was like, "This, I think this is the first time I heard my mom sound proud of me." So it's like that
Yeah, I've
feeling of like
definitely on some of those parents.
it's like
Totally.
you like the love of like, oh, I only get their love when I achieve something instead of like, you know, that's what I think.
Yeah, definitely. Anything to add, Teresa?
Sorry, I'm in my kitchen with my mother. So she keeps making noise. Um, I think the conditional parenting it like starts when a parent's heart slips into that inward self-focused place. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Definitely. If a parent's heart is at peace, are their children more or less likely to perceive their love and interactions as conditional? I said they're more likely to because, like, when your heart is at peace, you exude peace. Like, you're not, I think parents who are more at peace are more patient, they're less stressed. And so I think that they're better able to separate behavior from worth in a way, like how the previous question was stated. Um, so yeah, definitely unconditional.
I agree with that. I think when a parent is like calm and connected, the child feels seen, even when they're like being corrected. And the tone way of being makes all the difference.
Definitely, definitely. Do you need to hear the question, Angela?
No, I got it. It's
Okay.
just out on me. But so for me, yeah, it's like I agree with you that love, if you're at peace, you'll be able to feel at peace. Because like I definitely could tell my parents were not at peace. And I was like, whoa, you know? So definitely when you're at peace, you can tell that you can feel that unconditional love.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I know, like, when my heart is not at peace, like, I definitely do not exude, like, happy, like, parenting or body language or tone, and so, yeah, definitely. Okay. Is the influence pyramid a quick fix approach to behavioral problems in children of all ages? I said no because it's not a fix, it's a tool. We need to use it as a tool. I said it's a model also. Um, if you think about like when you go to a paint class and you're looking at the model, you're trying to recreate it, but it's not you're not going to get it exact, and so it's just there to kind of guide you through it. Um, and I also think to the ages part, I think you definitely need different like scaffolding as you age and stuff like that, and so it's not going to apply the entire time.
It's not like it. I guess it's a quick fix if you want it to be, but it's not meant to be used like that. Like it's meant to be used in different facets with your kids and to be applied daily. So no, I don't. I don't think it's a quick fix.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't think it's a quick fix either. I think it focuses on long-term connection and understanding, not fast compliance. It also takes more patience, but it actually builds the kind of trust that leads to real change.
Totally. Totally. Um, how well do the anatomy of peace or unconditional parenting help parents and children understand and honor agency? Um, I said that they both do it very strongly. Unconditional parenting, I don't remember the author's name. I don't remember. Um, but throughout unconditional parenting, her would you say niche is like respecting the child as a person. Like the child can make their own choices like they are their own person and to respect that and to motivate them. And then in Anatomy and Peace, um, they talk more about like the blame and curiosity aspect. Um, I think if I remember correctly, if it's the Anatomy of Peace, but I think that's where the part of our Zooms when we talk about like um kind of like the nanny video and like how they were talking to their child. I think it kind of more fits in with that textbook and that part. Yeah, I think they both contribute strongly, but in different topics.
I agree. I think they both do a good job of showing that agency is about helping kids choose rather than forcing them. I think they make it very clear that influence comes from love and listening and teaching, not from controlling their behavior. It also helps parents slow down and see agency as something sacred.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like that's talked a lot about in this class's agency. It's
Yeah.
like you can't like let your kid decide this or you decide that or through your actions. So that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, okay, number 5. Once things calm down, should Alfie and his wife proceed with the normal evening routine of snuggling and reading a story? Yes, because I thought that was so cute. If you can fix the nighttime routine of the maybe like the child just needed a like a to reflect or to maybe have a more gentle like before like what would it be called? Like before getting into bed, before reading the story, maybe just have like a more gentle pre getting ready for bedtime. But yeah, definitely I would say keep doing that because that's cute.
I definitely agree. I think like the goal isn't to just fix it, like make it as how do I say this? Like it's not to just like do a quick fix for it. It's like the long term is to create emotional security. And I think keeping that routine shows Abigail that their love isn't like tied to her tantrum. It teaches like this stability instead of that fear.
Definitely.
Agree. They should just keep the routine. It's like it's like you guys were saying of like if you can fix it, the whatever happened that night. Um, yeah, it's just like Tressa said. It's like she can know that she can depend on him and that they can overcome little arguments or things that happen, and it's not like a world-ending activity. So
Yeah, really. If the cones decide to put Abigail straight to bed, what lesson would she be learning? Um, I think that if what happened in the story, if she just didn't have the time to just like reflect, or maybe like the parents thought that that was her reflection time, I think it would have taught her kind of like in the first question. It's like my when you do something I don't like, I take something away, and I think that may be what Abigail would think is like when I make mom and dad upset or I do something they don't like, I lose access to something. Um, and I think it's kind of starts to be something about exclusion, more of inclusion with reflection or teaching moments. Yeah, there you go.
I agree. I think she would learn the love and closeness would be taken away when she struggles. Even if the parents like didn't mean it that way, she'd probably feel like that connection has to be earned, not given.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you guys. You guys put it pretty well. It's kind of like when kids, like when parents argue, the kids assume it's their fault. So she would assume like, oh, like I have to, like I don't, my parents don't have to give it to me. Like Trista said, I have to earn it.
totally. I'm writing it down. Um, how do we interact with children if we are not supposed to be negative or give praise? I think in which book was that? Unconditional Parenting. I think when what she really meant by that, because at first I was like, what are you talking about? I think that she's talking about empty praise. And I'm like, yes. I think how we are supposed to interact is what she said is to give specific feedback. Like, you did this, and so this is where we're at because of that. And then like to narrate your feelings, like, I didn't want you playing with your blocks because you were getting a little too crazy with them and I was worried about you. And another really, really good thing that I like that they said is to ask open-ended questions like, what would you like to try next? What um what 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 do you think is going to happen when you play with this toy? Like what is your end goal, or what is the story you want to tell with like playing with your blocks, like stuff like that. And I liked that.
I agree. One of the daycares I worked at, they implemented the like do not tell them like just good job or something like that's like simple like that. Instead, we like replace it with like, oh, wow, you're really good at whatever they're doing to help
Yeah.
them feel more confident in themselves and like seen. And I think also like instead of just saying like, oh, you feel sad, okay, or I feel like I'm mad at you, just say like why and give more detail as well. And so it keeps like the interaction genuine and instead of like a performance type of thing.
Yeah. It was really interesting to learn about empty praises. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna remember that. Like, don't just be like, good job. You gotta fill it. Have a full praise, not an empty one. Yeah, it was very interesting. I liked it.
Yeah, I so I work with kids with special needs, and it's like
Right.
it's just like when you're doing a good job, like clock, but you're like, oh my gosh, I believe you cut that paper all by yourself. Like, oh, like this the way they light up is like so much better when you actually give them genuine praise, like we're talking about. It's just not just some like, rehearsed, like, oh, you did great, you know. And then I think it also incentivizes them because we have this one kid in the center where we're like, oh my gosh, you're so good at remembering to throw out the trash. So every day he's like, oh, can I throw out the trash? Or, oh, can I go do this? And like kind of incentivizes more active themselves because they know that like, oh, they see me basically.
Yeah. Um, 8. Is there an appropriate place for artificial rather than natural rewards? Um, yes, I said to teach. If you were teaching the child about something like uh routine, I think that's called traditional scaffolding. I think is what I read. Can't remember. But I think to teach is okay.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think rewards are like a lot of the times they can get in the way of like actual like motivation and like learning opportunities because the child isn't like basing it on like actually learning something. They're just doing something to get the reward.
Yeah, true. True about that. I think that is. Oh. Oh. Angela, are you there? Or is it just me?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, no,
Anything to add?
no, you're good. Yeah. So like I was saying, I have a coworker where she was learning how to get potty trained by her mom, and her mom would give her a reward. And then my coworker learned that when she would go to the bathroom flush, she could just say she went to the potty by herself, and her mother would give her a reward, thinking that she actually did it. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah, rewarding is really good, but like it also like stresses it can get in the way of their development.
Totally, totally. I didn't even think about that. Man, kids are so smart.
I saw a thing with potty training where the mom didn't train her, like potty train her child. She had her older child potty train them by telling the older child that if the littler one goes to the bathroom, they get the prize. And so it instigated like the older child saying like, "Hey, let's go to the bathroom" and stuff instead of the younger child getting like the treat or whatever. So
Love that. I love kids. That's so funny. Um, why we're in 9, right? Why does conditional parenting produce desired behaviors when it is damaging? Um, I'm gonna say just like we've like the topic of that we've been talking about today is like I think it's a fear. It produces a fear of like losing something. Like if I don't do this, they're gonna take something away from me, and having just like normal human privileges, especially when you're a child, is like so powerful. And so having that happen as a child can definitely produce not good things and have make you have a different outlook on love in a way, or like losing love. Um yeah.
I think
I
it,
oh Tressa, never mind, you're the goat. You got this.
okay. I think it works because like kids want the connection more than anything. They'll change like their behavior to keep like the parent or the guardian or whatever close, but inside it can create fear and insecurity and resentment because they don't feel
Yeah,
really
man,
accepted.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that was yeah, basically it's like the kids who get beat a lot are like disciplined physically by parents where they're like, "Oh, my parent loves me, so they hit me." You know? It's like it just kind of creates that like yeah, they love you, but there's also that innate like fear and anxiety of like, "Oh my gosh, if I mess up, like I'm gonna get hurt." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the question, real quick? Sorry, I joined a little late.
Whoa, Justin, where'd you come from?
Yeah, I just joined a couple of minutes ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
The
Can you repeat? Oh, thank you.
question was, why does conditional parenting produce desired behaviors when it is damaging?
Why does conditional parenting produce desired behaviors when it is damaging? Hmm. So why does it do both? Is that the question?
Why does it produce does why does conditional parenting produce desired behaviors when it is so damaging? Like why does it do that if it's damaging?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm slow today. Um, yeah, so it's just kind of just the most important thing is just getting that thing done. It's not actually like learning whatever you're trying to do, like through that thing, like what you guys are kind of talking about, like with the going to the bathroom, like they're just trying to get, the reward. So that's why it's
Yeah.
yeah, that's you guys kind of explained it really well. Don't really have too much to add to it. But yeah, it's just having the goal in mind, not what you're actually learning or the real goal.
Okay, is everybody ready? What number are we on?
We're on 10.
Why do I literally have no idea what's going on? I can't hear any of you. I keep asking Angelo. I'm like, Angelo? And I'm pretty sure he just talks the entire time. I like literally can't hear anybody. Okay, Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I don't think
Yep.
anyone's talking.
So it's just
You're good.
okay,
Like
great.
everyone's answered, but I think whenever you don't hear anyone, it's because no one's talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's usually lots of long pauses.
Okay, let's go shut up. Does the Lord ever put us in timeout to make us suffer when we are disobedient? I put no, it's not like he's punishing us. It's aiming for growth, not punishment or revenge. Um, it's I think a lot of like people that have talked to or on social media. Like there's this one girl on social media who just like hates the church and she like left the church a long time ago and she's just like what? But she's like why did God make me do this and then punish me for it? Like why is God making me do things if he's the one that puts things in our way? And I'm like, "Girl, what are you talking about? He's not making you do drugs. Like, he's not forcing your hand. Like obviously like she has a big following on social media and so all these people are like literally oh my gosh is that what the church would teach you and I'm like no what the heck you have your own agency you left that part out but yeah he doesn't put us in timeout to make us suffer he's trying to help us grow and he also would never he's not going to give us something that we can't handle it's always to improve us.
I agree. I think he's never gonna like take away the love that he gives us. He like puts the trials in our lives to give us like lessons. And then when we feel like he's like putting us in a timeout, it's more so I feel like him giving us a moment to actually think about what we did and then like choose what our next step would be. And then he's there to support us and like help guide us when we need it and ask for it. Because I feel like he's not going to just immediately tell us like, oh yeah, this is the right way and stuff without us trying and like asking for help.
Yeah
Yeah,
to,
I agree with
to,
Trissa about that. Like, God doesn't, it's like the thought of, it comes from the same vein of like, oh, God hates me. Like, he's an evil, angry God who, like, his finds joy in my misery. And it's like, that's not true. Um, he's a loving Heavenly Father who, he just wants us to grow. And it's like Tressa was saying when we feel like we're in timeout, it's because the Lord's like, all right, like, what did we learn from these experiences?
yeah
Yeah, I definitely feel like sometimes it can feel like timeout almost. Um, but yeah, like what you guys are saying, I agree. It's not. A lot of times it's just we need to learn, what to start doing or stop doing. And sometimes it takes maybe not a step back from God, but maybe, I don't know, we just need to learn what it feels like to maybe not have the Spirit with us at all times and kind of miss that maybe. Maybe sometimes certain people need that. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's not a timeout. It's just, God knows us best. And sometimes that's the way it needs to be. If he needs to, he can't dwell in an unholy place, right? So if we're very unholy, he can't be there. Like it's just not his, like his rule, basically. Like not his rule, but what I'm saying. Can't dwell in an unholy temple. So yeah.
yeah how might withdrawing love be the same thing as pride and going to war inwardly towards others? Um, I wrote down that when you are withdrawing love as a punishment, then you kind of make yourself seem like you have like a moral superiority, or you're entitled to, like you can't have this because you wronged me. And having that kind of mindset centers ego and justice over relationship and empathy, which is the Christ-like attributes that you want to have. You want to have empathy, you want to have a relationship with people, and by doing those sorts of things, I think that you're kind of putting relationships in jeopardy, especially for other people like children. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that withdrawing love as a punishment, you're just kind of teaching them like anytime they mess up, like, oh, I'm not gonna love you anymore, which is literally what putting your heart at war is. It's like that feeling of like everyone's against me, no one likes me, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think withdrawing love is like a sign that we've slipped into seeing someone as a problem instead of a person. It's that like inward war where pride takes over and we like stop caring about their heart and we like focus only on their behavior.
Yeah, kind of at that point, you're kind of treating love as like a transaction. So it's like if you're doing this for me, I'll give you this. You need to always like love them. But sometimes you just need to, you know, discipline them in certain ways, not withdraw your love.
Yeah, totally. Mhm. Okay. Does the use of rewards and punishments interfere with or enhance a child's agency? Um, I like what I think it was what Angela said about the potty training thing. I think that when you give rewards and you shift the motivation to teach the children to search for outward consequences, like I wrote down gummy worms because my sister would give my niece and nephew gummy worms when they went to the bathroom. But then again, like the story, you would just flush the toilet so you would get a gummy worm. And I think that's kind of the answer to that question. It's like you'll your children will search for external consequences rather than moral reasons. Um, I think being in being intentional about the rewards and punishments can definitely help. Mm. So I think it interferes.
I think it also interferes, like, especially when they're like when you give a reward, it sometimes replaces real choice with the fear or like craving of wanting that or not getting that. And I think agency requires real freedom, and rewards and punishments can make kids act for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, really, totally.
Yeah, I think it's like, and I feel like it's also like it's kind of like you're trying to bribe the kid a little bit. It's like I know you don't want to do this, but like I'll give you something to do it, you know. And it's like Tressa was saying of like they're just looking, they just want the reward. They actually don't want to do it at all. So
Yeah, yeah.
Can you say the question again? I know it's about like rewards and stuff. Can you say the question
Um,
again?
does the use of rewards and punishments interfere with or enhance a child's agency?
Yeah, I definitely think I don't know, I think sometimes it can hurt it, usually not enhance it. Um, I think very few times it can. But yeah, if you're like abusing it, using it way too much, you're just gonna start kind of just wanting to buy their agency with things. So I think majority of the time it is kind of abusing it, but certain cases it's not.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Did everybody answer? I think so. How much agency does a parent have when it comes to seeing their child as a person or an object? I'd say they have a great deal of influence, like the anatomy of peace said, like we said in a previous question. A lot of what we talk about in anatomy of peace is seeing the child as a whole person. And so, I mean, you as a parent, you're the model for children learning about respect and empathy and how to see the world, really. I mean, children see the world how you do. You teach them about it, and um you have really all the agency. You can constrain behavior and cultivate it to help your children learn.
I think parents have full agency in that choice. Like, no matter what a child is doing, the parent decides whether to stay in a place of peace or slip into like the box and see the child as a project.
Yeah.
You can choose, oh my gosh, not the radio. But that you get to see your kid as an obstacle or something to fix, or you can see a person as a
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so I
think
was packing up
the
my car. Can you
boys.
say the question again? It's about agency. Sorry.
Yes. How much agency does a parent have when it comes to seeing their child as a person or an object?
Oh, I think yeah, 100% agency. But your man, you know, what's it called? Um, your natural self sometimes doesn't want to see them as a human because it's harder that way. That sometimes you just want to do whatever it takes to get what you want or get them to stop doing something. So yeah, I think you have 100% agency, but it's just yeah that battle.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, why do you think the doctrine of moral agency might be the most vital for parents to understand? Um, I think the doctrine of moral agency might be the I think it's just kind of like what we've talked about in all these questions. It's like your child is making choices and it's up to you to how you're going to promote those and what the consequences are going to be. I wrote down autonomy. You need to respect their autonomy while providing guidance. You have to, I read in the book, you have to guide them through like their choices. Like, let me be an example. I feel like I am such like a controlling person. I feel like I'm such a controlling person. I'll just say it. But sometimes, like with my daughter, I'm like, what toy do you want to play with? And I'm like, I want to play with this one. Like, I think it's important to understand the doctrine of that because they're their own person. They have their own moral decision making. I think that's how the Lord, views us. Like He's like, no, please don't do that. But we have agency for a reason. Um, yeah,
I think without understanding the agency, parents can confuse control with teaching. Agency helps them guide instead of push, and it helps kids learn how to choose goodness for the right reasons. My mom kept giving her two bits as well. She said that why would we not fight for it here when we fought for it in the pre-existence as well?
hmm yeah.
Yeah, it, yeah, dang, Tress is on a roll today. A lot of inspired comments. But um, so yeah, basically that. Like, if we don't teach them agency, then um, they'll never be able to choose for themselves. They're always going to expect or wait for someone else to tell them to do something, and I feel like that's a very vital skill or attribute to have is the ability to make a choice for yourself and to have the confidence to like overcome and like make that choice happen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like what Joseph was saying about like they'll confuse agency with like control. Like you might mix the two up. Um, so yeah, it's super important for the parents to understand the principles of it because if they don't understand it, they'll teach their kids in a way that they think that they're giving them like agency, but they're really not. And they're actually just like controlling their child, and that leads to like a bunch of other issues, like children having like authority complexes and other issues like that, and probably be more likely to a little crazy. So yeah, I think it just avoid a lot of issues down the road if they understand principles of it.
Yeah. I swear I still can't hear you guys.
We stopped
We're not
talking, I think.
talking.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Did you say you want me you want me to read the question? Guys, I'm going through it. What's wrong with my laptop?
No one was talking when you said that.
I wonder if I need to all I can hear
How many
is
more
that
questions are
tried to say something.
Oh,
Hold on, let me
There's only one more question.
okay.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, now
Yeah.
guys, I'm just gonna talk. Why do some children fall away from the church when the parents have been stalwart? What is that word?
My mom said that that means like they like stand firm and stuff. Like
Stalwart. Okay. That. Um, when the parents have been stalwart all along.
they've stood
And
firm all along.
yeah, man, that's an amazing question. Sometimes I wonder that. I really do. I'm gonna say it right now. I wonder that about some people. I think it's really about the people that you surround yourself with. Really though. Uh Social influences, peers. I wrote down peer pressure, rejections, Satan, you know. There's so many things in this world that can do that. And I have a lot of friends whose parents, like one of my friends just left the church and her mom's like, I can't even leave this. This is like world ending. And then like when I talk to my friend, she's like, because the only thing, like if I wasn't reading my scriptures, my mom would take away love for me. And so I'm like, oh, maybe there's a different way to go about that. Like, there's just so many things that happen. But yeah.
I think also it's because like every child has their own agency. And so when they have their own experiences and their own spiritual timing, it kind of is different than what the parents go through. And even if the parents are strong in their faith, it can like the child can just not be strong. For example, like my parents are both very strong and like dedicated and like they have strong testimonies, but then my sister is not part of the church anymore because her own beliefs and like what she's personally gone through. And so
Yeah, yeah.
it fully doesn't matter like if the parent is fully strong, it just depends on how the child kind of accepts what their guidance is and how the parent also guides the child as well.
Yeah. My mom is the youngest of 6 siblings, and my mom was just like, you know what? I'm gonna join the church. And all of her siblings are like, nah. Like, it was the most random thing for her to join the church. But it's like she had her own experiences that led her to that, and yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think it's the thing of like you can't live on borrowed light, where it's like every person's different, and it's kind of like Tressa, where my parents are very, very religious, very in the church. They work in the temple. They do it all, and my two siblings are. My sister is not very firm in the gospel anymore. She still believes, but doesn't really go to church anymore and do that stuff. And then my brother's kind of iffy too. So they both had their own experiences with the gospel and other stuff. So it's very much like your personal experiences and how you choose to attribute those things and use them.
Yeah.
I think also I've heard this before, like when when people are asking like if you've been a member or your whole life or if you're converted, I think a lot of people just answer it as like, oh, I've been a member my whole life. But there was like a comment that somebody made at church sometime that was like, I've been a member my whole life, but I was converted at this age, because you can be a member your whole life, but when you finally actually build your own testimony, not based on your parents or just like what people have been telling you to feel, you base it on what you've actually felt yourself and what you've learned by yourself. And that's when you're truly converted.
I love that. Look at Tressa yet again. Here she goes.
Yeah, spinning balls. So the
Yeah.
question was, how can the parents be okay with their kids leaving when they're been like good with the church? Is that what the
Why do
question is?
some children fall away from the church when their parents have
Oh,
been
okay.
steady all along?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so everyone's different, right? We're not all the same. All of our spirits are different, and I think a lot of it has to do as well with um, your friends that you let your kids hang out with. Like if they're always talking bad about the church and like talking that like there's no God, there's no this, Big Mormon's so fake, and like just saying constantly negative things, like you are the sum of the five people you hang around the most, they say. So if you let your kids hang out with not good influences, doesn't really matter how much the parents can be, you're gonna be fighting an uphill battle with that. So I think that's a lot of times what happens, and a lot of times it's just personalities are very different. Some people don't believe things until they're like, see miracles, or it's not usually how that works, but some people are just very logical, so this doesn't make sense. So it's a little bit of both of that.
Yeah, totally. This girl that always pops up on TikTok, her name is Haley Raw. I don't know if you guys have heard about her, but she makes a lot of money, and her whole account is about bashing the church. In one video that I saw a while ago, somebody asking why she left the church, she just like listed all of these things that had happened to her that had nothing to do with the church, but was just kind of like the church was just like a ricochet or like a counteract with it. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, she's like, my friends, I went through a bad relationship and we broke up. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the church? So we all go through different things and we all deal with it very differently.
Yeah, it reminds me. I was in my internship and we were talking about something, and it was like, "Oh, God made me do this. God doesn't make you do anything." Like that's
Yeah.
people like the church made me do that. The church doesn't make you do anything. Like everything you do is free will
Yeah.
agency.
Yeah.
But also, I do have to go though because it is
Totally.
5:51. So I am leaving right now, but do I have to be here while we do the summary, or can I just
I
go?
don't think so. You're fine. You've been here the whole time. So,
Okay, and that was all the questions, right?
yep, all done.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
sweet. I'll see you guys next week then.
Yeah, see you next week.
Yeah, bye.
I can say the summary right now. Um, how might conditional parenting grow out of a parent's way of being? We talked about how some parents will think like if you don't do X, Y, and Z, then I'll withdraw love, I'll withdraw all these things. If a parent's heart is at peace, are their children more or less likely to perceive their love and interactions as conditional? I said they're more likely because when your heart is at peace as a parent, you're more patient, you're less stressed, and so you'll be able to exude that unconditional love. Great. Is the influence pyramid a quick fix approach to behavioral problems in children of all ages? We said no, it's not a quick fix because this is like a tool. It's not like a bibbity bobbity boo. Uh, it's a model, so it can help you kind of scaffold, I think is the word. Um, how well do the anatomy of peace or unconditional parenting help parents and children understand and honor agency? Um, I said an unconditional parenting cone really emphasizes like respecting the child as a person. An anatomy of peace, we talk about like placing blame on a child, um, and treating children that they like they are people with agency, like they have their own choices. Once things calm down, should Alfie and his wife receive the normal evening routine of snuggling and reading a story? We said yes because we can teach I think her name's Abigail to reflect instead of taking away that really nice family time of snuggling and reading a story. If the Cones decided to put Abigail straight to bed, what lesson would she be learning? We said that she would be learning, like, if I do something to upset someone, I'll lose something, which would be so sad. How do we interact with children if we are not supposed to be negative or give praise? We said to provide specific feedback, open minded questions, and we talked a lot about not giving empty praise. Like instead of saying, oh, good job, say, like, good job with stacking your blocks high, things like that. Is there an appropriate place for artificial rewards? We said yes to teach. We should, yeah, to just, I put to teach. I don't know what else we talked about there, but yes, there is an appropriate place. Why does conditional parenting produce desired behaviors when it is damaging? We said because it creates a fear of losing something, and like having certain privileges is kind of like a really powerful right. And can be very bad. Does the Lord ever put us in timeout to make us suffer when we are disobedient? We said no, it's to help us grow. Um, and it's not revenge. How might withdrawing love be the same thing as pride and going to war inwardly towards others? We said it creates a moral superiority or entitlement. It centers ego and justice over relationship and empathy. Um, does the use of rewards and punishments interfere with or enhance a child's identity? Um, we talked about the gummy worm situation, about um I think it was Angelo's friend or something like that. He works with kids. And Angelo was telling a story about how the mom would give her child a reward after going potty training, and eventually the child knew if he went to the bathroom, he would get her treat, and so he would just flush the toilet and not even go to the bathroom. So it does interfere with the child's agency. How much agency does a parent have when it comes to seeing their child as a person or an object? We talked about how they have literally 100% influence. They can they're teaching their child curiosity, respect, empathy, and we talked about how they need to understand agency as a parent. Why do you think the doctrine of moral agency might be the most vital for parents to understand? We also talked about anatomy of peace in the previous question. We talked about moral agency with this one, to teach responsibility. Why do some children fall from the church when their parents have been stalwart all along? We talked about how it has to deal with the peers, social influences, pressure, rejections, and where we all go through different experiences and we all navigate it a different way. And we used examples from our own lives and people that we knew. All done. Go team.
Sweet. So
Sweet, thank
next
you.
same time, and I will submit the video.
Perfect. Go team.
Sweet, appreciate
Good
it, guys.
job, guys. That was a really fun topic. Those were fun questions. I always love talking about these because it makes me like think.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. Okay, have a good week.
You too. See ya.